Oh my God, we're back in person.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to By Its Cover, a podcast
Wait.
where...
We first need to start with a formal apology to our listeners.
For what?
Because, dear listeners, we are both so sorry. Say sorry, Katie.
What am I sorry for?
We are both so sorry that we have been saying that this is a podcast where we read books by their cover. Sometimes we listen to them, which doesn't count as reading. So we need to change it to By Its Cover as a podcast where we consume books by their cover.
Well, we pick out books by their covers and then consume them. In an audio or visual format.
Yes.
When you read it, is it a visual format?
I don't know. Can
Is
you
that
see
considered
it?
Visual?
Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not reading it in Braille.
I mean, you can still see Braille.
If you're not blind.
I said
I
you.
can see
Yeah,
Braille.
yeah.
Huh. I don't think we're changing it. What do you
So
think,
I'm really
listener?
sorry, listeners.
I'm not.
We're both. Katie, say sorry.
I can't believe you interrupted the spiel for this. That's so funny.
I've been thinking about it since our last episode.
Have you?
I'm like, holy shit, we've been lying to our audience.
This whole time.
Yeah.
As you were listening to it, as an audience member, you were like, I lied to myself.
Yes. Yeah, I felt like jaded. It's like, I'm never going to listen to these people again.
And here you are.
I mean, I'm not listening to me.
No, that's right. Except technically you do have headphones on.
I can't hear me. I can only hear you. Our studio is perfect.
It is perfect.
What book is today?
Wait, we didn't finish the spiel.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, welcome back to By Its Cover, where we pick out books by their covers, read them, consume them, and talk about them. I'm Katie. Hey, Jake.
I'm sorry.
So funny.
Wonderful.
I keep knocking this table. Listener, if you hear that, I'm so sorry. That's what I'm sorry for.
She's a damn table knocker.
Hey, I have another apology for our listener.
Great.
Our one listener.
For me?
Yeah. Yes. Dear listener, we told you that the book was going to be The Future by Naomi. We still didn't find
The last
her
name.
last name either.
Yes.
No, we're not reading that. Right now, we've read Art Thief.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that today.
We lied about Girlfriend on Mars. We lied about The Future. But we promise we'll read them at some point.
We're rocking it.
The summer has been summer. Look, September 22nd is when summer ends.
Yeah.
And you can expect us to actually get the next book right.
After September.
Probably November. It's still warm until like November.
Yeah. Okay. So in wintertime.
Really after Thanksgiving, I think. But then between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's a lot going on. And then there's Christmas and New Year's. And then you got to make a bunch of New Year's resolutions. Then you kind of like give up on them. And so like by April, maybe May, you're starting to feel a little depressed.
Really looking ahead.
You didn't fulfill your New Year's resolutions. So then June comes around and you actually start getting it right. But then July 4th happens and it's summer.
Ta-da!
So maybe we'll start getting the next book right.
Oh my God.
But today's book
is
The
The Art Thief
by
Michael Finkel. Got the cover over here.
Okay.
Before we jump into this book, I want to know, listener, if you feel like Jake has insulted you by saying that listening to an audiobook isn't reading. What do you think? Is it reading?
Were you
or is it
triggered?
not?
I really want to know if I triggered you.
Did you feel attacked?
I want to rub my nipples while I think about triggering you.
We're moving on.
It's like the South Park episode where they Comcast, like, they have patches over their boobs.
Oh, is that a reference?
Yeah. They rip the patches down and then they start rubbing their nipples. They're like, oh, tell me about your problems.
Like, man, this has gotten weird over here.
We can cut that.
Do we have to?
We don't have to, but we can.
Yes, we can. Okay. So I picked out this book using Libby from my library. And it's got a picture. Well, the front says The Art Thief, a true story of love, crime, and a dangerous obsession. The top half of the cover looks like a bat. And the bottom half looks like a Renaissance painting or something. And it's got a blonde person holding a recorder or a flute or something, laying down maybe in the grass. I don't know. It's hard to tell from here. But they kind of look like they're on drugs, like mouth hanging open, sleeping or something.
They touch the feather to the back of their throat.
Let us know if you get that reference. So yeah, that's the cover, and I don't really know why I picked this one.
Why don't we just start talking about it?
Perfect, because I don't know why I picked it. What's funny is I picked it a while ago, and then it's been on my list for a while, and it finally showed up in my audiobooks, and I forgot that it was a true story. So when I first started listening to it, I was like, what the heck is this about?
Okay, so The Art Thief is a true story.
Yeah, it says so on the front, ironically. I forgot about it.
Is it based on a true story? Or
Oh, no, it is a true story.
So
yeah.
this is a...
But you read it.
This is a memoir?
It's like a biography.
Auto?
Nope.
Just...
Journalist went and sat with this guy and then wrote the story.
In prison?
After prison.
How long was he in prison?
Several years.
Wow.
Do you remember reading this book?
I read this book, dear listener. I read this book, if I'm 12 now, it must have been like last year or the year before.
It was not.
Well, yeah, because I haven't hit 8th grade yet.
Oh my God.
So it was like 6th or 7th grade maybe. How old are you when you're in middle school?
You didn't read this in middle school.
You don't know.
We picked out this book not that long ago.
Yeah, but I didn't read it again.
You had read it prior?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you read it recently.
No. I read it. I said, I think I've read that book. And you're like, yeah. Okay, cool.
Now I have doubts whether this was the book that you read. It feels like this book was recently written.
Is this book about someone that steals art, has a girlfriend, and doesn't do it for the money, does it because he likes the art?
Yeah.
And then...
But there's another one written about him.
And then he is meticulous, very meticulous. Mm-hmm. And he always, or usually hits the same museums and steals small pieces. Mm-hmm. But then he makes a mistake and goes to prison from that mistake. And then his mom destroys all the art.
There you go, listener.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
Cool.
That's this book.
I'm so good at this.
Yeah. Yeah, you are good.
I mean, it was only like a couple years ago, so.
My God. So the book is about, oh my God, what's his name now? I forgot. Breitweiser.
I told you everything I remember.
Breitweiser. I think his last name is Breitweiser.
Okay.
And his girlfriend is Anne-Catherine.
Okay.
And he gets really into stealing art, as you said. I think you covered the story really, really well, though. I don't know if there's a whole lot for me to...
I think the summary's done. What was your favorite part of this book?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, well, I really, really liked the epilogue. No. Yeah, the epilogue. What's going on out there?
Someone's outside. Watering?
Oh, yeah, I asked him to water the plants while we were...
Cool.
I'm smart. Oops.
What was your favorite part of this book?
I think the epilogue. The epilogue was really cool.
Okay,
the
great.
End.
We all know what the epilogue is, what's in the epilogue. So tell us, listeners, what's in the epilogue.
I don't hear you, listeners.
Oh my God. I just had like flashbacks to sitting on the couch watching Blue's Clues. And they're like, What color is it? And then they pause. And then you're like, you shout at the TV, like, blue!
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
So all listeners that were shouting at their radios.
Didn't hear you, sorry.
We didn't hear you, sorry.
Sorry. The epilogue had some really incredible details about... forget it. Listen.
I'm that listener that's coughing, like, not impressed.
Right. I think my favorite part of the book was just the detail. I mean, I didn't know anything about this story at all in the slightest when I started this book. And when I started it, I forgot that it was a true story. So I was like, wow, this is really dramatic. Like, what is this? Like, the way that it was narrated was somewhat dramatic, romanticized, in just the tone. And there were some really interesting details when I realized it was a real story. He stole several hundred pieces of art, totaling like $2 billion worth. And his mom burned all of the oil paintings.
That's my favorite part.
That was nuts. Like, I'm imagining her being so upset that she goes into the attic and the way that they're describing it, she's having this, like, she is going to clean out this freaking attic. And she dumps all the metal pieces into the river or something and then takes the oil painting somewhere and lights the match to them. And she got jail time too. And I kind of think what she did was more severe.
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think what she did was awesome. And I don't think she should have gotten any jail time. Because she increased the value of all those pieces of art.
How?
They are definitely more desirable now that they've been stolen and burned and have a story behind them.
They're not even around anymore. They're like totally destroyed.
Take the ashes, put it in little fucking jars, and sell it at the convenience stand on the way out of the museum. You're going to get your billions, okay? For selling freaking ashes.
I thought it was really, really interesting how quickly and easily he stole all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got out, and then he was like, he got out of jail. We're jumping all around. He got out of jail, and then was going to try not to steal anymore for Anne Katrine. And then couldn't. He couldn't not take the art. And even when he was on, this is what I liked about the epilogue so much, when he was being interviewed by the author of this book, they went to a museum or something, and he ended up stealing a $4 booklet from the museum store or something. He also stole the guy's laptop while he was interviewing him to prove a point that he could do it and not be noticed. And he didn't even notice it was missing. He pointed it out. I thought that was really fascinating. To just have like the kind of confidence to just take something is nuts. One of the pieces that he stole, he had unscrewed 30 screws in order to take this piece of art and still got away with it. It was nuts. And the end of the book, the author kind of grouped him in with bibliomaniacs.
Biblio, like book?
Yeah. He says he doesn't really fit in with any other like art thief.
Not a normal klepto.
Right. Like, he's not doing it for the stealing. Apparently, he's doing it because of the feeling that he gets from being with the art.
Kleptomaniac.
Well, he says he's not. He didn't do it. Apparently, he didn't do it for the thrill of stealing because he doesn't steal a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. But it's the artwork. Like, he wants all the artwork, and apparently bibliomaniacs steal to provide the books a better place to be. Like, there's one guy that stole like thousands of books and has like a special pocket in his jacket that he sewed in specifically to fit books, and then they'll take books and restore them or something and then keep them. So the author kind of made this argument that he fits in more with bibliomaniacs than kleptomaniacs. It was interesting.
I have a wonderful question for our listeners.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, after you go to our Patreon at patreon.com/byitscover,
Yeah.
and you sign up for the $5 per month tier to support us, give us an email and tell us what the favorite thing you ever stole was. And I want to hear those stories. And we'll read one on the air.
Oh, that would be fun.
Anonymous.
We'll
read one on the air
in trouble.
next time that we get together and record and after you email us.
Yes.
So go to our Patreon, do the $5 a month tier to support us.
You've got 1 week.
You've got 1 week to do that and then email us and tell us what your favorite thing you ever stole was.
Yes. What's the favorite thing you ever stole?
I'm not going to tell you. It's not anonymous.
Perfect. Speaking of Patreons, we have one. We should thank our Patreon. Thank you. Hey listener, Editor Katie here. Jake tried to give away the identity of our Patreon subscriber. No.
Oh, okay, right. Cut that. That's part of the $15,000 mystery tier if you want to find out who our Patreon is.
That's right. I'll just cut that one piece where you say who it is.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to support this podcast, join the Patreon.
Yep, so you can pay for laughs.
That's right.
Yep. So, what was the favorite? It was a 30 screw thing, the thing that you favorite stole?
That he stole?
Yeah, you heard me.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really have a particular attachment to any of the items that he stole, but I think he stole a crossbow from a castle or something, and it was too big to fit in his jacket, so he dropped it out the window of the museum and then went around the outside and got it. And that was, I thought, pretty ballsy.
I mean, priceless
Right.
history, artifacts.
Right.
Just like, throw it out the window, go get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine this guy's attic, what it looked like before it was destroyed.
Before the match.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Like, he was living in his mom's house, and allegedly she didn't know.
See, that's why I don't think that she just saw some shit in the attic and decided it was time to clean and burned it.
Well, it was after he got arrested. So there was one home video that was mentioned in the book that was like, it was on his birthday or something, and him and Anne Katrine made some kind of joke about something, and then he turned the camera to his mom and, just really hinted that it was really like a strong hint that, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I have no idea what you're saying, but she's completely innocent.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. But apparently she was so mad after he got arrested the second time and actually got jail time and stuff, and she was so mad about it that she went up and cleaned the attic.
I have another question for our listeners.
Okay.
What is the most favorite thing you've ever burned? Hosts of byitscover@gmail.com.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
Tell us your favorite thing you ever stole and the favorite thing you ever burned. And then, if you did burn what you stole, bonus points.
Not that we're condoning that behavior.
I totally condone it.
Not that I'm condoning that behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not sorry, but she doesn't want you to steal. And I am sorry. I do want you to steal.
Siblings.
Yeah. Everything is balanced.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about this book.
Okay.
I thought that you had read it recently, so I was like,
oh no.
This will be easier to talk about.
No, it's been
1 week since you looked at me.
Yep. 2 weeks since Katie said sorry.
This could be a short episode.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It's a summer episode.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's from what I remember from a couple years ago when I was 10, simple book.
Yep.
Exciting. Thrilling.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable that the guy did that.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Really, really unbelievable.
Really ballsy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, he wrote a book to try to show that he was changed.
Did he steal his own book?
No, he wrote this book and he basically like offered to help museums up their security or something.
It was his resume. He wrote his resume.
Pretty much, yeah. And then he ended up like at a store and it was not well security.
I heard you.
Eyes. What is the word?
Not secure.
Yeah, sure. I was looking for the one word. Anyway, not secure. And he stole a few items of clothing or something as a gift for his new girlfriend or something. And then went back because he was like, well, I should go get that one thing too. So he went back and stole something else and then got caught. And obviously, girlfriend broke up with him.
Why?
Because
he was so thoughtful.
So thoughtful.
Yeah.
And it was all over the news, and it destroyed his reputation. Or maybe it solidified his reputation.
What's he doing now?
I don't know.
Be interesting
Let's
to know.
find out.
Yeah, let's find out.
Oh, here we go. He was placed under surveillance in 2016 after he tried to sell a paperweight on eBay that had been stolen from a museum in St. Louis. He was arrested again in February of 2019. The police found other things from other museums, basically, and a lot of cash hidden in buckets. He had a trial last year in March in France. He was found guilty, and now he's sentenced to house arrest and is required to wear an ankle monitor. So, there you go.
Never gonna give it up.
No.
I feel bad for the guy.
I do.
Like, can they put a fake museum near his house so he still gets the thrill, and it's included within his ankle monitor? Like, set up a theme park for the guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting is he didn't believe that there was anyone harmed.
Yeah, it's just crap
from
sitting around.
Yeah,
Some
people
old
weren't
crap.
paying to go see these things.
That's old crap. He should start his own museum from all the crap he stole.
I think he wanted to...
Business idea. He starts a museum with all the crap that he stole. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a honey trap, honey pot for other thieves. He challenges other thieves. They come and try to steal the shit, and then they get caught, and then they go to prison.
For stealing
and old crap. And then they start their own museums, right? Because they are also addicts of stealing. And then they challenge other artists to steal, and then they catch them. Then they go to prison, and then they start a museum, right, of all the old crap that they stole. Mm-hmm. This is great. And then...
Write this down, listeners.
Write this down. And then they challenge other artists after they start their own museum, right? And then they catch a thief, right? And then they go to prison. And then after they get out, they start a museum.
Oh my God. Then somebody writes a book about it. Called The Art of Stealing.
The Art of Stealing. Just call it Stealing Art.
Stealing Art. Art of Stealing. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Yep. So what's the guy's name
The
again?
Art of Stealing Art.
What's the guy's name again?
Stephane Breitwieser.
Stephane, if you're listening, send us an email. What was the favorite thing that you stole?
Yeah.
And what was the favorite thing that your mom burned?
Ooh. Oh. Get right into those feelings.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, our next book is Future.
Yep. As promised, we talked about that book today. We'll talk about it next time.
Probably. Maybe.
Well,
I read it.
I'm just thinking about...
Or wait, I listened to it.
Consumed. I consumed it. Yeah, I'm just thinking about what my week is looking like. If I'm going to have time to finish the book.
Okay, I picked out a couple short audiobooks. Maybe you could read one of those.
Okay.
before then, and we'll get to the future sometime in the future.
Oh, this is completely my fault. If only I were more dependable. But right now I'm not.
Hey, sometimes we're just not dependable.
Look, right now my name is Grace.
Oh,
I'm giving myself some grace.
that is so sweet. Oh my gosh, I love you. It's so good that you're back.
In the flesh. I learned a new term, by the way. Flesh bucket.
Ew.
That's what you call a pumpkin.
I can see that. A flesh bucket.
Yeah. He stuck his hand in the flesh bucket.
Nope.
All right, listeners, that's pretty much
And
it for this
that's it.
episode of By Its Cover, a podcast where we consume books by their cover. The ones that look the most appetizing get
Yum,
eaten
yum.
first. Yep. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, remember, we've got a Patreon. $5 a month really supports us. We want Ferraris and Lamborghinis and $1 million mansions, and your contribution always helps a little bit.
But most of all, we just want you to pay for your laughs.
Yeah, it feels more worth it when you pay for them. You won't know until you do it. You pay the $5, you listen to this episode, you're like, wow, this is the best episode they've ever done. And it's because you paid for it.
That's right.
Right? You
Get invested.
Get invested. Exactly. Your $5 donation can turn into $1,000 if that's the tier you want to go for next.
If that's the tier you want to go for next, it can turn into $1,000 if you want to upgrade.
That's right. It's an investment.
But it won't happen by itself.
That's right. Start today. You do it. Then you get 3 of your friends to do it. And it turns into this tree. A network, if you will, of people, right? Supporting this podcast.
This episode has basically been a plug. There wasn't a lot. Not a lot of meat in this episode.
Not a lot of meat in this episode. We're losing it.
We're losing it. We'll get back to it.
All right.
It'll
Well,
be fine.
that's pretty much it. Bye.
Bye.